Genesis, the first book of the Bible, opens with a powerful statement. In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. This sets the stage for the entire narrative, emphasizing God's role as the ultimate creator. The first chapter of Genesis describes a universe cloaked in darkness and formlessness. God, however, brings order from this chaos. He speaks, and light pierces the darkness. He separates the waters from the sky, creating a space for life to flourish. God then forms the land and fills it with plants and animals. Each act of creation is deliberate and purposeful, culminating in the creation of humanity. Made in God's own image, humans are given a special place in this new world. They are tasked with ruling over creation, reflecting God's character and care for all living things. Genesis 1 paints a picture of a perfect world where harmony exists between God, humanity, and creation. This is the Garden of Eden, a paradise where God walks with Adam and Eve in the cool of the evening. At the heart of the garden stands the tree of knowledge of good and evil. God commands Adam and Eve not to eat from this tree, warning them that doing so will bring death. However, a serpent, cunning and deceptive, tempts Eve. He questions God's words, suggesting that eating the fruit will not bring death but rather knowledge and wisdom. Eve, enticed by the serpent's words, succumbs to temptation and eats the fruit. She then offers it to Adam, who also eats. This act of disobedience, known as the fall, has catastrophic consequences. Adam and Eve's eyes are opened, but not to the wisdom the serpent promised. Instead, they become aware of their nakedness and feel shame for the first time. Their relationship with God is fractured, and they hide from His presence. The harmony of Eden is shattered. Sin enters the world, casting a long shadow over all of creation. The fall of humanity has a ripple effect, spreading sin and its consequences throughout the world. We see this most clearly in the story of Cain and Abel. Cain, driven by jealousy, murders his brother Abel. This act of violence is a stark reminder of the power of sin to corrupt even the closest of relationships. As sin continues to spread, humanity becomes increasingly wicked. Lamech, a descendant of Cain, boasts of his violence and takes 2 wives, defying God's design for marriage. The world descends further into chaos with the arrival of the Nephilim, mysterious beings of great power and strength. Their presence contributes to the growing corruption and violence that pervades the earth. Finally, God, grieved by the wickedness of humanity, decides to cleanse the earth with a catastrophic flood. He chooses Noah, a righteous man, and his family to survive the flood and repopulate the earth. Despite God's act of judgment, humanity continues to rebel against Him. This is evident in the story of the Tower of Babel. Driven by pride and arrogance, humanity unites to build a tower that reaches towards heaven. They seek to make a name for themselves and challenge God's authority. However, God sees their rebellion and confuses their languages, scattering them across the earth. While the story of the Tower of Babel highlights humanity's continued rebellion, it also offers a glimmer of hope. Despite their failures, God continues to work in the world. He chooses Abraham and his descendants to be a blessing to all nations, promising to make them into a great nation. This promise hints at a future redemption, a time when the consequences of sin will be reversed and harmony will be restored between God and humanity. Genesis 1 through 11, though filled with stories of sin and judgment, ultimately points towards this hope of redemption. It is a reminder that even in the darkest of times, God remains faithful to His promises.